Lately, I've been making this breakfast that's basically like a grilled egg, turkey, and cheese sandwich, except it only has one piece of bread to cut out on the carbs. I feel like at the end of the day, it has to be healthier for you. I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things. So first, I usually just fry up some eggs. So you start with like just frying up eggs, and I added way too much oil into the frying pan this time. And if you're asking what that smoke was, it literally is just all the burnt shit under the pan. I am not starting a fire in the house, at least not yet. I honestly don't know what the different types of like cooked eggs are because I usually just flip mine over once, but I know sunny side up is like you don't flip them, and I was going to try to do that for this video, make it a little bit more aesthetic, but then I ended up flipping them over anyway because I didn't want the bottom to burn too much, and I still had a lot of other stuff to do. Like I had to take the bread out, and I spread a little bit of butter on the bread, but less butter than you normally would on like a grilled cheese sandwich because, you know, trying to be healthy, I guess. Then some good old turkey and cheese. And then I take the eggs that I cooked and I throw them right on top. And then, you know what? Just for safe measure, I throw them back into the frying pan just to toast the bread. Make sure everything melts all nicely. I don't really like flipping them because then it becomes a huge greasy mess, but it means everything is cooked and perfectly melted by the end. Also, then after that, I throw on some salsa, which, hey, I thought that was expired, but turns out the whole point of salsas is like not supposed to expire very fast, so I throw some of that on there, and it's delicious. It's perfect. Literally my favorite breakfast ever. I wasn't very good at cooking, or I had like no experience with it before university, so being thrown into it and having the choice between fast food or food that my parents would have made for me, I'd rather have that. Also because I noticed I have like one meal at McDonald's and my acne just flares up again and it pisses me right off. I want to learn how to cook because I think it's so fun. And yes, is food ridiculously expensive? Yes. You know what else is expensive? Alcohol, drugs, like vapes and stuff, that's also drugs. Is food the worst thing to spend a bit more money than you want to on? I don't think so. It's kind of a necessity. Because honestly, I remember I didn't even fry up anything on a frying pan, like any like raw meat, except maybe once before I moved to university. Now I'm like doing it all the time. And believe it or not, guys, it's really not that complicated. And I'm not a picky eater. So like I have no problems if the food I make is bad, but I know it's like still like good for me. It tastes boring or bland or whatever, I'll still eat it. Because I've noticed the first few times I made fried chicken, it was like so under seasoned. I'm like, I put shit ton of seasoning in this. Like, what's the problem? And now I'm just adding more and more. But yeah, it was weird. At the beginning, I was just boiling chicken with no seasoning, and I was like, why does it taste weird? So yeah, I've been making a lot of stir fries lately. But for now, I got to get to meal prepping. Okay, so now I'm going to try to tell you how I make my overnight oats, which isn't a very original recipe. I literally just googled most of this, except everywhere says something different. So if you want to try to follow mine, it ends up pretty good. So okay, I start with half a cup of oats in each container, and then like slightly less than half a cup of milk, and that was really easy this time because I was basically out of milk, so it's going to be way thicker than it usually is, but whatever. I usually then add a tablespoon of Greek yogurt. It just evens out the consistency, and it adds good flavor. It's good for you. But I did have to check the expiration date. I was really not prepared to make overnight oats. I don't know why I decided to do that today, because I was also out of peanut butter, so literally scraping the bottom of that, I usually add at least like a heaping teaspoon of peanut butter. I only had one banana left, and it was moldy, or not moldy, I guess it was just bruised. Honestly, bruised bananas still taste pretty good. In fact, it just means it's over ripened, so it's like super sweet and stuff. Made it really easy to tear it apart, and then I throw that in. I usually add other fruits, like frozen stuff. Then I add syrup because I don't like honey. Do not argue with me. Honey has a weird flavor, and I don't want to elaborate. Then I do manual mixing with a spoon just to make sure I break up everything into smaller chunks, especially the peanut butter. It's like really annoying to work with. And then you shake the absolute shit out of it before you put it in the fridge. Did look really bad, yes, but actually it was still pretty good despite the fact it missed most of the ingredients I use in it. Okay, so the next few days of cooking were I wasn't really cooking, I was kind of just... So at first I remember I went to go grab a Campbell's soup can of broccoli and cheese something whatever soup, and there was a recipe on the side for a casserole. I'm like, wait, I have most of these ingredients already except for breadcrumbs, because like who cares about breadcrumbs? I don't know what they would have added. Maybe they would have saved it, because admittedly it was bad. But I actually didn't have milk the first night, so I just made chicken frozen vegetables stir fry like I normally do. But then yeah, I used some extra chicken, some extra broccoli and everything to mix in for this casserole that I made. And it involved you melting cheese and butter together to put on top. And I'm like, maybe I didn't melt the butter enough, or maybe I didn't have enough butter, or there wasn't enough cheese. I'm like, I've never been more confused, but I'm like, it was disgusting. It was actually quite underwhelming. The butter and cheese combination just tasted like butter, and when it went cooked in the oven, it just like had a bunch of oil on top, which was quite disgusting. So I don't really know why I made this, because also like you expect casserole to have some substance to it, and maybe I didn't put in enough vegetables or something, because I had to microwave more vegetables towards the end because I literally forgot to actually follow the recipe at all. So maybe this is me shitting on a recipe that I didn't even follow. I don't know. We all make mistakes while cooking. We can't be cooking 24/7. We have to burn some stuff. Maybe leave the oven on for a little bit too long. But yeah, that's been my cooking journey so far. I'll definitely update you guys when I try to throw in a couple more fancy recipes, because I've been seeing stuff on Pinterest. So I'll let you know what happens. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys next time.